The letter I. It's very important to BMW. Until recently, we only saw I's at the end of model names like the 330i, the M440i, and the X5 xDrive 40i, just to name a few. The I there stands for fuel injected, but in 2011, BMW launched a sub-brand called BMW i and brought the I to the front of vehicles like the i3, the i8, and the iX3. I apparently no longer just stands for fuel injected. What does it mean now? Who knows? I honestly thought that was going somewhere, but I have no clue what I stands for anymore. All I know is that I am Omar, and this is the 2022 BMW i4. So yeah, I was really excited when BMW announced the i4 because it's really one of the few electric vehicles that's a fully electric version of an already existing gasoline car. In fact, BMW makes the i4 on the same assembly line as their gasoline and plug-in hybrids. There isn't an all-new electric platform or an all-new advanced assembly line. And that means this should drive like a BMW first. Does the i4 give you the ultimate driving experience before it decides to go and save Mother Nature? Let's find out. But first, let me give you a quick tour of everything. I'll break down the electric car part of it, we'll take a look at the outside and the inside, and then I'll take it for a drive and give you my opinion on just how BMW the i4 is. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. All right, let's do this. All right. I always wanted to say all right, like Doug DeMero says in the beginning of his videos. But yeah, let's kick it off with all the electric car stats and figures because that's what you're obviously interested in right here. So the i4 eDrive 40 that I'm testing here gets one electric motor mounted in the back, making this a rear-wheel drive car. Horsepower comes in at 355 with 317 pound-feet of torque. The faster and all-wheel drive BMW i4 M50 gets two electric motors, one in the front, one in the back, for a combined output of 536 horsepower and 586 pound-feet of torque. As for 0 to 60, the eDrive 40 here will do it in 5.5 seconds with a top speed of 118 miles an hour. Comparatively, the base Model 3, which the specific i4 competes with, will hit 60 in 5.8 seconds, so +1 for BMW here. The i4 M50, on the other hand, will hit 60 in 3.7 seconds, which is slower than the Tesla Model 3 Performance, which does it in 3.2, so -1 for BMW over here. Now the range figures for the i4 depend on the wheel size that you go for. See, that's the thing with electric cars. The fancier you get, the more you want, the less range there is. For example, my test i4 eDrive 40 here has the M Sport package that gives you 19-inch upgraded wheels, and with those, this will do 282 miles on a full charge. Now, if I got rid of the M Sport and kept the standard 18-inch wheels, the range would jump to 301 miles. So the smaller and more boring you go, the more range you will have. But hey, at least that'll keep the price down as well. Now the same goes for the i4 M50. With the smaller 19-inch wheels, you'll get 270 miles on a full charge. If you want to get all fancy and upgrade to the 20-inch wheels, the range drops to 227 miles. The same thing happens for Tesla, by the way. The base rear-wheel drive Model 3 will get 272 miles on a full charge with the 18-inch wheels and 267 miles with the upgraded 19-inch wheels. Of course, it also costs $10,000 less, but we'll get into the pricing a little bit later. Now let's talk charging times. Using an 11 kilowatt household setup will take the i4 from 0 to 100% in 8 hours and 25 minutes. Now, if you can find a DC fast charger capable of 200 kilowatts, you should be able to go from 10 to 80% in just 31 minutes. And BMW says the i4 eDrive 40i can add 108 miles of range in just 10 minutes, while the M50 can add up to 97 miles in just 10 minutes. All right, let's talk about the exterior design of the i4, and it basically looks like the BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe that it's based on. And that's not a bad thing at all because we finally have an electric car that doesn't look like an electric car. And the best part is that BMW didn't go all that crazy to try to make this shout, hey, I'm electric and I care about Mother Nature. There's only a few changes from the gasoline 4 Series Grand Coupe. You still have that giant controversial grille in the front, but it's now closed off since it doesn't need to cool a real engine. The intakes have also been closed off. Really, the only way to tell that this is electric is to look at the blue ring around the BMW badges. Each of the badges on the i4 have a blue ring around them, even the BMW logos on the wheels. And there is no exhaust in the back. That has been covered up since there are no fumes. And of course, you do have some i4 badges around here, but other than that, it looks pretty much like a 4 Series Grand Coupe, which I, for once, like. Get it? Okay, that was bad. Now, unlike other electric cars, you don't have a frunk because BMW actually uses that space for some electrical components, and that's okay since this is a liftback, hatchback, or Grand Coupe or whatever. And because of that, you get a total of 16.6 cubic feet behind the second row, but with the 40-20-40 split rear seats, you can open that up to a massive 45.6 cubic feet. Now, once you get inside the BMW i4, you'll notice that it's just like taking a seat inside the 4 Series Gran Coupe. Everything is exactly the same, except the new infotainment system. It has BMW's curved display with a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and a 14.9-inch center display because 15 inches would have been too big. Now, one other difference that you'll notice is that all the climate controls and shortcut buttons that used to live down here in this area are now gone. You still have some physical controls here, but the rest have been moved up into this giant display. So if you want to adjust the temperature or turn on or off your heated and cooled seats, you'll have to do it from right here. Now, other than that, this whole BMW i8 system is very intuitive and very nicely laid out. The resolution is super crisp and the overall performance is outstanding. I have had no issues with it glitching up or freezing at all. It feels and looks much better than the ones that you get on non-electric BMWs right now. By the way, this is the same system on the BMW iX, and I'll dive a little deeper into it once I test that later this month. Nonetheless, you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is something you can't get on some other electric cars like a Tesla or a Polestar because they think they know how to do it better, which you don't. I'm sorry, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are just easier. Now quickly, this giant gauge cluster is a huge improvement than the ones you get on non-electric BMWs. You have a few viewing modes that you can pick from, and you get a full screen map view as well. By the way, I totally forgot to point out these blue highlights on the start button and the shifter, and you also have a blue highlight around the logo on the steering wheel because, you know, it's electric. All right, before I give you my final thoughts on the BMW i4, let me point out a few random important things that I'll have to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front right there, and then you have 2 in the back in the center armrest for the rear passengers right there. Here are what the keys look like to the i4. Since this has an M Sport package, you have the M colors, but no BMW i logo. Even the BMW logo here doesn't have a blue ring around it. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. Solid BMW sound. Charging game wise, you're working with the USB-A port right there and a wireless charger right there. Front passengers also get a USB-C port right there in the center armrest. Second row passengers get 2 USB-C ports right there. It is now time for an indicator and horn sound test, this time here with the 2022 BMW i4. Indicator first. Same old BMW indicator. Now for the horn sound. Oh yeah. I like it. All right, first things first, let's do a quick launch control. Foot on the brake, gas, accelerator all the way down, launch control active, release. Whoa, that electric car jolt. Again, this will do 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. The base Tesla Model 3 will do it in 5.8. And that sound is so freaking cool. That's a part of something called Iconic Sounds. BMW actually teamed up with Hans Zimmer to create an emotional sound experience for each of the drive modes in the i4. So when you're in sport mode, I don't know if you can hear it, but it does sound very cool. I mean, I don't feel like I'm in the Gladiator or the Dark Knight, but that is very cool. I like to see BMW finally having some fun. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, this is based on the BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe first, rather than an all-new electric platform, so this should drive like a BMW first, then do the electric thing. And it most certainly does. It handles really nice in sport mode, has that solid on-road feel, and in comfort mode, it cruises around in a smooth manner and behaves well around town. It's everything that you know and love about the BMW driving experience. In fact, to be honest, the week that I was driving this around, I sometimes forgot that I was driving an electric car. I thought I was just driving a regular 4 Series Gran Coupe. In my opinion, range isn't everything. It's about the overall car, the overall drive, and the overall experience. And overall, this drives a lot better than the Tesla Model 3. And I'm not here to tear down Tesla or the Model 3. The Model 3 is still a very nice electric car. But the fact is that this goes head to head with the Model 3. And when it comes to interior quality, driving dynamics, and the overall luxurious feel, the i4 does it much better. The only issue that I see here in terms of drivability is the curb weight. The eDrive 40i, you see I did the I thing there again. The eDrive 40 here weighs a total of 4,680 pounds. That's 888 pounds more than the 430i Gran Coupe and 511 pounds more than the M440i Gran Coupe. And if you want the more performance-oriented version, the i4 M50, that weighs even more at 5,018 pounds, which is 1,118 pounds more than the M4 Coupe. And you do feel the weight, although it does handle the weight well. It doesn't totally throw it off balance, but you do feel the heftiness. Nonetheless, it's surprising to me that I could do this in a 4,680 pound car. Electric cars just feel so awesome, and you can do this all day while getting your passengers really sick. Now back to the Model 3 versus the i4 battle. Yes, the eDrive 40 beats the base Model 3 in range and a 0 to 60 race. But if you compare the i4 M50 versus the Tesla Model 3 Performance, the Tesla puts up better numbers in terms of performance and range. So yeah, keep in mind, every time that I say that the i4 is better than the Model 3, I'm talking about the i4 eDrive 40 versus the base Model 3. But even when it comes to that, one area where the i4 eDrive 40 sees a setback besides Tesla's supercharging network is the price. The i4 eDrive 40 starts at $55,400. The M50 starts right under $66,000. The Tesla Model 3, the base one, starts at $41,940. The Model 3 Performance starts right under $57,000. So yeah, the i4 isn't winning the pricing game at all. Now, I would love to say that everything at those price tags is just standard, but that's not the case. Besides the giant display with iDrive 8, everything else is essentially optional. I mean, you do get all the other stuff that you would expect as standard in a BMW, like a power moonroof, powered seats, and all that. But if you want the updated Icon adaptive LED headlights with laser lights, that'll run you an extra $1,000. If you want heated front seats along with a heated steering wheel, you will have to add on the premium package for an extra $950. It will also add on some ambient lighting with some cool electric names for the colors. Ventilated front seats will cost you an extra $350. Real leather seats go for $1,450, but at least BMW is offering real leather seats in an electric car, unlike other EVs where you get fake leather. You'll pay an extra $100 if you want the iconic sounds by Hans Zimmer, and if you want a wireless charging tray, that'll be an extra $200. And if you want to upgrade your sound system to the better Harman Kardon sound system, that'll be an extra $876. Safety-wise, the parking assistance package will cost you an extra $700, and that will give your i4 the ability to park itself automatically. That will also give you the top view surround view camera with the cool 3D view camera system, which all BMWs must have. A drive recorder system will cost an extra $100, and that's useful if you get in an accident and you need some video proof. Now, if you want some more safety extended driver assist tech like automated steering, lane keeping assist, and lane change assist, that can be had as a part of the driving assistance professional package for $1,700. Adding on the heads-up display, which should have been part of one of these safety packages, will cost an extra $1,000. And if you want better handling, you can throw on the dynamic handling package for $1,750, meaning the i4 eDrive 40 that I'm testing here costs right under $68,000. So yeah, a lot of the cool and convenience features are optional here, whereas on the Tesla Model 3, essentially everything is standard. But with the BMW, you're paying for the driving dynamics, the interior quality, which don't even get me started on Tesla, and the overall luxury car feel. See, when it comes to electric cars, the conversation always circles around the range and 0 to 60 times. And like I said earlier, it isn't all about the range. It's about the overall experience that the car gives you. So yes, the i4 eDrive 40 is better than the base Tesla Model 3 in every way possible, except for the higher price, but in my opinion, that higher price tag is totally justified. Not to mention, you are still eligible for tax credits, so that can come down. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. Peace out. My next car is definitely going to be electric, for sure. It drives so much better than the Model 3. Get triggered, Tesla fans. I said it. Fight me in the comments. Let's go. I'll reply, and I'll like your comment too.